So Rey Palpatine ultimately is handed the whole Skywalker legacy.
No, it's not true. That's impossible.
Hi everyone, welcome to OG Star Wars channel, and I am here bringing you the latest current Star Wars news that came out on Starwars.com. And this is an interview with Rea Carson, the novelist to the Rise of Skywalker film. So this is the novelization to the Rise of Skywalker film is what I meant to say. And in this article, there's various little points here that she's asked in interview by Starwars.com. And one thing I found that was interesting, besides the topic that we're going to scroll down to, is that she is asked, how did she feel when she received the bid or the acceptance on to write the novelization for Rise of Skywalker, the movie. And basically she said that she doesn't remember and that her mind was blank and she doesn't remember her reactions. She had to have her husband come and read the email for her again. Now, mind you, I get the excitement with that, but when I hear, oh, my mind was blank, and then I hear read about all this nonsense that she's put inside the novelization, and what I'm going to read you on how she feels and about the Skywalker legacy, you're going to understand a little bit of like there's nothing going on upstairs because she doesn't understand Star Wars whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and get into that point of this interview. I'm not going through this whole entire interview because I wanted to get into the meat and potatoes about this, and you may have heard me say that little analogy before, meat and potatoes, and this is what this is about. This sums up Disney Star Wars and how they have complete understanding about the lore that George set and his vision, which this strays way from his vision with the Skywalkers, with the men of the Skywalkers, even Leia. Even though we've seen, there's speculation that Leia is stronger than Luke and she had to get the job done for her brother when it come to training Rey, but we won't hit that note right now. So Starwars.com asked Rea Carson, so from Starwars.com, Rey famously takes on the Skywalker moniker at the end of the story. What does this mean for her, and how does it enhance her journey since we met her on Jakku? Mind you, if she had her whole separate journey and this did not tarnish the legacy of the Skywalkers, Luke and Anakin, his rise and fall as Darth Vader and his redemption and Luke's redeeming qualities that is not common in many Jedi, and him building the new Jedi Order as we see him in the original lore, so if we see her complete journey different to that and her own merit, not on the merit of anybody else, and taking the moniker or taking away from anybody else's legacy, then we would have a story. And if she wasn't a Mary Sue, then we'd have a story to love. So this is what Rea Carson says. So I'm going to read the whole thing here, and towards the bottom is where we're going to focus on. So when I was 18 years old, I took on the moniker of my stepfather to honor the bonds of love and trust between us. Now, mind you, when I was in coffee chat, I did read this as well. And I added my stepsister did take my dad's last name on as her own, father and daughter kind of relationship. And so she adopted, his last name. And so I completely understand, but Rey never had that with any of the Skywalkers. I don't care. And even so, it does not fit in this journey. I imagine it was much the same for Rey, who wanted to honor her own chosen family. And here we go, chosen family. So we're going from the chosen ones to chosen family. So she chooses her family and she chooses to take everything from them. Every damn thing from them. Okay. I recognize that Rey's decision proved controversial, and I look forward to discussing this with fans for years to come. She kind of deletes you when you try to have a conversation on social media and stuff. So I don't think she is open for a discussion at all. But my current take in this, the entire Skywalker saga is about Palpatine turning or trying to turn the Skywalkers to the dark side. No, it's not, darling. It's not about his journey on trying to turn them to the dark side. First of all, it's about a hero's journey with Luke Skywalker. When just the OT was out, Luke Skywalker, and we seen his hero's journey from a farm boy that has a lineage, and basically kind of like the Sword of the Stone as well, where he's handed down the sword, and he takes that hero's journey and he becomes the hero, and he becomes basically what his father was supposed to be, and he helps defeat the evil guys. This was never about Palpatine trying to turn him. In fact, when we realize that it's his father, Vader is his father, Vader was trying to turn him so that they can team up together and rule together. There was nothing about Palpatine trying to make him turn. So that right there, my dear, is wrong. And then with Anakin Skywalker, Palpatine wanted to turn him because he recognized that Anakin was the chosen one, hence the rise and fall of Anakin Skywalker and the redemption of. But this was never about Palpatine trying to turn any of the Skywalkers. Only one, if you want to get into that back plot of it, and that was not the initial plot at all. The plot was about getting us to A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi with Anakin's redemption. It's the Skywalker story, not the Palpatine story. And okay, to the dark side, he especially hopes that Rey will prove a worthy vessel for his own power and ambition, because the Skywalker's final become the Skywalker's final downfall. We did not get any hints in that he wanted to defeat the Skywalkers. He just wanted to rule in Rise of Skywalker. And yeah, he was choosing his own another vessel, which I think they really did poorly. They forgot about the Chimonians, who are basically specialists when it came to cloning. So cloning was never a Sith magic or alchemy or technology. We see that we see the cloning in the prequel trilogy. So Palpatine, being such a brilliant man, why didn't he hire one of those beings to help him develop a clone that is working and capable? So again, they don't know Star Wars. They have the material. They're inside the movies, not just inside Legends, but inside the movies, and yet they fail to pull all the smart stuff out that can help with their movies from the movies, and they pull out anything from Legends and just flip it on its head and bastardize it. So, but I digress. And then he fails. Rey rejects everything about him and takes on the Skywalker mantle and legacy. Again, keyword takes. She just takes everything. Instead of embracing who she is, like Leia says in the movie, basically embrace who you are. That's not exact quote. She does away with it. Instead of saying, I'm a Palpatine, but now look at me, I'm the opposite of my father, or the clone of my father, whatever, and I will do good and I will create. But also it says that she's a Palpatine who turns to the light. However, every single movie it is indicated that she is on the light side. We do see some dark side tendencies because she's not fully trained, and that's what training is about, so that you properly use the Force for good, not for evil. Basically, dark and light good, dark evil. And so there was no indication she was dark whatsoever. She was on the dark side. She was never a dark Force user. She was always on the light side. Okay, so there was no turning, or no turning to the light side for her, or no turning light. So that makes no sense whatsoever on top of that. Thus handing the Skywalkers their ultimate victory.
I don't believe what I'm hearing. I don't know you anymore. You're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
This is where the retcon begins. Because the guys couldn't do shit. This movie, this trilogy, retcons their whole journey. It retcons the Chosen One, because he wasn't successful. Isn't the thing about the Chosen One being successfully fulfilling your prophecy? Okay? And then Luke successfully turning his father to the light side and taking the mantle as a Jedi Knight and eventually a Jedi Order, and recreating the Jedi Order, the new Jedi Order. And so basically, nope, the guys couldn't get it done. So she does it. Even though she's a Palpatine, she does it. So here you go, you guys. We have this retcon here of the Skywalker legacy. And then again with Leia too as well, because eventually she couldn't get it done either, even though they retconned her training from Bloodlines novelization, which takes place 28 ABY. If you want to look at the timeline and correct terminology, that's established in the lore, original lore, ABY after Battle of Yavin. She basically, in that novelization, she's asked why she's not a Jedi, why she's not training with Luke, and she basically says that her job is with reestablishing the New Republic as a senator or as a politician. And also inside the novelization, she also flashes back to where she was trained by Luke just a little tiny bit, and that was innate training on just sensing and just very, very small, telekinesis kind of training. That was it, sensing and intuitive and intuition kind of thing, but that's it. And it's helped her when the Senate building was being bombed inside in that novelization. And so here we go. So now she's basically made a lightsaber, and she's skilled in the Force to the extent that she can train, but she's not a Jedi Knight, which not many Jedi Knights ever had were training, but the Clone Wars did, because of the fact that they needed Jedis out in the battlefields leading. And so sometimes Jedi Knights did take on Padawans because of that. There was exceptions to the rules. There always is in anything. There's always an exception to the rule. And so probably they will say that with Leia, well, because she was the only one left, then she's training. And so then they hint about her being stronger than Luke, thus diminishing the legacy of the Skywalker men even more. And mind you, I don't mind Leia being a Jedi Knight, because she became one in the original EU, and it took her a long time. It took her a long time, not because she was bad and she didn't understand how to train or whatever. The reason why it took her a while is because she was helping rebuild the New Republic. She did not turn down her legacy. After she made peace with herself, she did not turn down her legacy. She basically took her time, because her Mon Mothma, she was basically Mon Mothma's right-hand gal. And so Luke did help her build a lightsaber. She did train with it. Once she was pregnant with the twins, she was going through trainings, because by then she made peace with her Skywalker legacy. And then from that timeline all the way through the Yuuzhan Vong War up into Darkness Trilogy, she was slowly training, decided that she wanted a new master, so she chose Saba 17, which basically she is a kick-ass Jedi master. So I recommend get into the lore and learn more about her. She's a Bearbell. And from there, she's trained by this awesome Barabel and becomes a Jedi Knight in the Darkness trilogy. And even Saba 17 tells her that she advanced really quick into a Jedi Knight once she sat down, was able to commit herself. And that was the thing, she was fully able to commit herself, and she became a Jedi like that. And why? Because she's a daughter of Anakin Skywalker, the chosen one. And so that was beautifully done in the EU. Here they're retconning, in Disney, Star Wars, they're retconning even their own material for the sake of Rey getting training again. And so they use Leia to even make the men look like they're incompetent, her own men of her family. And so I'm going to close it out here. This disgusts me when it comes to the retcon of the lore. It's retconning George's legacy, his vision of Star Wars, his vision of Luke Skywalker, his vision of Vader and Anakin. And it's taken away the initial plot of the story just so that their character can shine. And there's no need for that. There's no need for it to happen this way, but it is. And we've also come to the conclusion that the story group does not know what they're doing. They, when George, and I'll share the picture here, but George, when he's helped planning stories and even the Clone Wars and all that, he had source material next to him from his very own EU. And this may not have been one of them, maybe it has, but something like this that kind of has all the stories in front of it, plus the Bible, they called it, or the holocron database, where he was able to, and they were able to go in, look things up, see if it happened, see where they're at in the timeline, and expand from there the story from that. George approved it, contribute to it, or even written part of it, or whatever, but it was done and it was coherent. And there was a lot of mindful in the world, process in the world building. And so I'll leave you guys with that. So please comment below. Let me know what you think about this I wouldn't say new revelation, but we knew this was coming. We just didn't know how it was going to come or how they were going to end it, but we knew what was coming. So tell me in the comments below, what do you think about this? And again, I do report Star Wars news, but my channel is mainly about the original lore or original EU, George Lucas era of Star Wars. And I will continue to share where the heart is at and where my heart is at. So thank you for your support. Subscribe, like, and share. Check out my merch, and may the Force be with you.